Hello everyone and welcome back to QuipScope. It's the show where we talk about a brand new game that's come out, or a game that's coming out soon, or in this case, a game that kind of has already come out, but now there's a bit more of it has come out.
It's all a bit wishy-washy really, isn't it?
Yeah, my name's Peter.
And my name's James.
James, what bit of a game have you been playing?
Oh, well, I'm playing the second installment of Halo Infinite.
Oh, Halo Infinite 2. It's out now.
Infiniter.
Yes.
It's, yeah.
So you've been playing the campaign, right?
Yeah, so this is the single-player campaign that's released because they decided to surprise launch the multiplayer about a month ago. This was the initial sort of release date intended.
Right.
And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Very good, actually. I'm kind of underselling it there, but essentially it's an open world Halo. And it's one of those where they've changed the formula a little bit, but it's still very, very familiar to especially the original trilogy. There's big OG trilogy vibes to it.
Yeah, I remember quite early on. I mean, when it wasn't looking so promising.
Yes.
They were. I don't know if they were talking about it in that sense, but certainly the audience reacting to the initial gameplay was saying that's quite kind of Halo 1, 2, 3 kind of vibes.
Very reminiscent, yeah.
So what's your experience with Halo? Have you played them all up till now, or have you had any gaps?
Well, I'm a bit patchy actually. It's funny because I'm supposed to be the Xbox correspondent in a way, but never been a huge Halo fan. So
okay.
I played, in terms of single player experiences, I've played I jumped in at 3, and then there was ODST and Reach, which are sort of side things. So don't they sort of flesh out the world and more interesting stories, but don't really have the big sort of the narrative of this. And then apart from that, Halo Wars 1, which does kind of play into the narrative here, to be fair.
Well, that's a good perspective to have, though. It's with anything like this, it's good to know not just whether it's going to appeal to fans of the series already, but whether it's good for people who perhaps don't know so much. Because I played 1 to 3, really enjoyed all of them. Then I played 4, didn't really like it that much, and then I dropped off. So I've not played anything since then. So, but because of those original trilogy vibes, I had been thinking about picking this up. So.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I get the vibe that's definitely something that a lot of Halo fans did. There was a lot of drop off with 4 and 5, and it followed a different story. It started focusing on the Forerunners. Likewise, I'm not sort of completely au fait, and I'm not very familiar with the lore as a whole, but I did watch a 30-minute recap video last night just to prepare. Annoyingly, because the update was not an automatic sort of update. You had to actually go in and say, right, download the campaign element of the game. Yeah, there was a 3 gig update. I was like, well, that doesn't seem right, but okay. And then, an extra wait. So, bit of an annoyance there, but be prepared.
So what can you tell us about the narrative?
It's a weird one. So it does follow on from the Halo 4 and 5 sort of setup, and weirdly, because I believe Halo Wars 2, which I haven't played, but I believe that story followed on from Halo 5, and it follows on from, or it takes elements from Halo Wars 2 as well. So basically, and this is just what I found out earlier today, there's a group called The Banished. So you remember the Covenant? Yeah, fun, happy collective of different alien species. They're fine. They're just they just want to worship some Halo rings and do their things. So the Banished are a sort of offshoot of this, seemingly led by the Brutes. So whatever the alien race is called. It might be a bit insensitive to call them Brutes, but hey.
Yeah, because they've got English names, but that's not really what they're called. They all have a kind of a Covenant language name. So
sorry, Craig.
Yeah. The Brutes.
Yeah, the Brutes. So you have this, you start off, and it's very, very action-packed intro. Your chief, the master chef, he's facing off against a big brute called Atriox, who I believe was the big bad from Halo Wars 2. So that's where it sort of links in there. Leader of the Banished, who are that offshoot. And the fight doesn't go very well, basically. He gets sent out in space, and then the next thing you know, it's that scene that we saw from the trailers a year or two ago.
Yeah, with that big human guy.
Yeah, so he sort of like wipes the windscreen of the spaceship clear, and he's like, that's Chief out there. He's flown out in space. Bring him in. Come on, let's see what's going on. Mm-hmm. And from there, you realise that Atriox, the other guy, there's no chance for a rematch because he's seemingly gone, or they're speaking as if he's gone. And instead, you've got this other big bruiser chief, mega war chief, Escharum.
Right.
Escharum, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Something like that, anyway. And he kind of provides like the driving force of that. But as you sort of wake up, you're kind of stranded. Cortana is seemingly gone because that's always a thing. Is she gone, isn't she?
Yeah.
I believe Halo 5 did a little wool over the eyes, like she's not dead and she comes back, but then she might actually be bad and then dead again. Yeah, it's one of those things. Apologies for any Halo lore nerds out there. I'm sorry.
That's the one thing I can't correct you on Halo 5. So I'm with you. I don't know what happened.
Not entirely sure, but there's always like the what if of where is Cortana? Mm-hmm. But he's currently without an AI at that very starting bit. Right. You're basically looking to get home from this Halo Ring Zeta, I think. Right. And apparently there's been a lot of fighting. You could have been stuck out in space for months, apparently, and the guy that rescues you is basically like, we lost, Chief. What are we gonna do? We need to go home. But he's like, nope, we're gonna take back the ring and fight those guys and do some other stuff. You pick up an AI along the way, and then it's interesting because the start as well, despite the fact that it's very much been marketed as it's open world Halo. Whoa, what a change! Series first. It starts off kind of maybe a throwback to the first three in particular, where it's a couple of more linear levels, very, very beautiful as well. So that's something that the extra year of development has obviously paid off in that respect. Very pretty on the Xbox Series X, which was what I was playing it on. But you're going through these sort of a couple of linear levels, and then eventually, I've seen one review saying that it's kind of a weird, a bit of a cold start. I thought it was good. It sets up some things, but I do see what you mean in that respect. Why did they not lead immediately with here's the open world? But after about an hour and a half, you have that classic moment where a hangar door opens and then boom, you got the open world. Nice, pretty vista. So and it looks very, very the color palette and everything looks very sort of OG trilogy.
Well, so how does that work then? As an open world game, do you just get kind of quests and missions and you can go and kind of complete them in different orders and stuff? Is that because I don't really know anything about the gameplay of this other than it's an FPS, but obviously it's a different style this time.
It's a strange one. It's not sort of full on. I feel like the open world comparisons are, it's open world to a degree. It's not like you've got you'll have missions, but it's not like, let me check my quest log. A traveler came and gave me a quest sort of thing. So basically you have your overarching missions anyway, follow the story, and from what I could tell, you can just zip to the next story part if you really want to blast through it. Apparently it could take as little as 12 to 15 hours, or 15 to 20 hours, or as long as 40 odd hours or something. Wow. So there's a reasonable, I say reasonable, it looks quite big from the map that I've seen and from how far you can view out into the distance, but not super excessive, Ubisoft massive world can take you 200 hours sort of thing.
Yeah, with loads of markers and things to capture.
Unfortunately, so how it works, there are a few map markers and things like that where unfortunately it's it's not going to be super revolutionary. There are a few things.
I'd expect some of that for sure. And
you have the option to capture these forward operating bases, these FOBs.
Right.
And those will act as they almost act like, and I hate to do the comparison because it is fun to play for it, but the classic, Ubisoft radio tower, that sort of thing. And it unlocks more sort of it gives you a bit more vision on that map, so it unlocks a few extra markers. And so the other things you can do, you can go around and liberate these bases, so these enemy bases, so sabotaging the banished bases. I only found one during my gameplay, but that involved just shooting a bunch of guys and blowing up a few silos that were there.
Right.
Also, Scorpion tank was there, so that's nice.
Excellent.
There's a lot of vehicles that you can, and I assume will unlock more. But aside from that, there are also rogue squads of remnants of the UNSC that were sort of surviving on that ring, and sort of desperately just trying to survive, really. So you go and rescue them, and that's a little thing. You also have things like Spartan cores that you can pick up. Oh, and audio logs as well, because of course you have audio.
Of course, there's audio logs.
Yeah, you gotta have some collectibles.
Wouldn't be a video game without audio logs.
Exactly. But yeah, you have these things called Spartan cores, so it's another little collectible thing that helps you sort of level up certain aspects of your Mjolnir suit.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So you have obviously a big thing I haven't mentioned yet. The grapple hook.
Yeah, which is
shot.
obviously available in the multiplayer. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really come across it too much in the multiplayer because it's just one of several things. But this feels like it's been clearly built around that sort of mechanic, and it's a lot of fun. It's really cool once you sort of figure it out.
I guess you've seen people launching warthogs and then grappling onto those warthogs, and then it just sends you to the other side of the world.
Beautiful, yeah. That was a hell of a thing. That, I imagine there'll be more crazy stunts, mad stunts that people will try. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun to do that. It adds a lot more mobility to the action as well. So you really do feel like once you sort of master it, and there's a little bit of control in there where you can if you grapple and you look left or right, you can sort of guide and launch yourself in a certain direction. And it's something that just gives it a bit more it makes you feel like an action hero, like the chief should be. So you can zip in and then realize, oh crap, I've just grapple hooked my way slap bang in the middle of everybody, and I'm dead now. Fantastic. But yeah, you can also grab weapons from afar.
Nice.
You can grab other sort of throwable explosives and things. And going back to the whole sort of upgrading aspect, you can also get some upgrades to allow it to shock enemies, and I believe a couple of other upgrades as well. So yeah, that's a hell of a lot of fun. Yeah, really cool.
That's good. Well, do you think it's been accessible to you as someone who's not a huge Halo fan? Do you think it's something an entry point for other people who might be in your position?
I think so. I think the issue is it kind of the story is always gonna be there, and that's the same with any series that has been on for a while. It's always going to be a bit of a rough sort of jumping in point, and you'll feel
some of that knowledge, does it?
I think you can jump in, but you'll know that something is missing, and you've missed out a lot of context there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does assume that for example, who Dr. Halsey is, for example. So yeah, basically the surrogate mother who started the whole Spartan thing, which I didn't know until I watched the video yesterday. But yeah, however, there is a lot of accessibility to it, because I mean, from a gameplay perspective, it's very much harking back to the great days of that original trilogy. A lot of the guns will feel familiar. Even the new ones feel really interesting to use and everything. And it is, from a story perspective, it is kind of its own thing as well. It's just from that perspective. Oh, Chief has woken up in an impossible situation. Just a standard quite actiony sort of plot of well, against the odds, the chief is gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then for any fans of like the previous lore and people who do know more about it, there'll be lots of things there as well. And yeah, in terms of the open world, like it is a lot of fun because like the gameplay, I mean, they've nailed it. They've nailed it.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
a lot of people are saying that.
Yeah, in terms of like just that classic Halo feel. So you just throw that into what's kind of like a standardized in a way open world formula, but it gives more opportunity to just mess around with the grapple hook, for example. I believe other abilities will be unlocked later, but that's like the sort of big thing from the start that you get. And it provides a lot of fun. So I'd say it's pretty accessible.
Well, I've been tempted for the first time in a little while. I've been tempted to give it a go. So. But then I'm also one of those people who doesn't like to have a gap in the...
No,
so I might have to force myself to quickly rush through Halo 5, or at least just watch a long play of it or something, so I know what happens.
And then Halo Wars 2, apparently.
Well, yeah.
And then you have to play Halo Wars 1.
Yeah, I played that back in the day, but I didn't expect Halo Wars 2 to be...
It's a weird one,
sort of factored into this to an extent. So, yeah, that might be worth looking at as well. But that's the beauty of Game Pass, I suppose. So, there we go. Well...
Excellent.
That leaves just enough time for us to say, Halo Infinite, more like Halo Winfinite.
Oh, that's good.
They were gonna. It looked like it wasn't gonna be any good, and then they did it a year. And now they've done it.
They pulled out the dub.
They have.
Excellent. But Halo Infinite, more like Hello Infinite. It's taking you a while to
where have you been?
Arrive. Yeah, the multiplayer was here a while ago.
Jeez. Yeah. Come on, campaign. Hurry up.
Dear.
Very good. Well, thanks everyone for watching QuipScope or listening to. If you're watching on YouTube, there is some gameplay available as well. So check that out if you're listening on the audio form. There we go. Thank you very much. Check out QuipScope in the coming months for even more video game first impressions.
Ooh, exciting.
But until then, we'll say goodbye.
Yes, goodbye. Thank you for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.